Okay, so welcome to lesson 5. Now we're moving into looking at some angles, and we want to learn how to name them and classify them. So you want to pay careful attention, as the naming actually can be important. But before we do that, let's just review some stuff with our warm-ups. First, you're going to count off the number line, find the length of the line segments. Then you're going to find the coordinates at the midpoint. And again, your reference tables in Chapter 1 has the midpoint formula for you to use. And then see if you can find the coordinates of your of the letter R on the other missing endpoint. Pause the video and come back. Okay, so as I said, you should pause the video to complete these yourself. If you're just copying, you're not going to do yourself any good. You won't be prepared when it comes time for quizzes and tests. For number 1, you just were counting them off the number line. So counting how many spaces you moved to go from D to C and then A to E. 2, with a midpoint, we have our midpoint formula. It tells us to average the x's, average the y's. It's a -3, 3. So you should know how to do these on your own. If you don't, you still have any questions, you need to see me. For number 3, I decided to actually do this through on the screen with you because it is a little bit different than ones that we've done before. This middle section, M, -4, 5, is the midpoint of RS, told you how to label the picture. Then I put the coordinates on for the M and the S, and it's just to find R, we need to work backward. So where before we worked left to the right, we're going to do the other way this time. So I want to think to myself for the x's, how did I move from 0 to a -4? How do you go from 0 to -4? Well, I have to go back 4 units. So from this -4, I also need to go back another 4 units. Gives me a -8. So that's the x coordinate of that endpoint. And so then I got to figure out, how did I go from -10 to 5? Think about my number line. From -10 to 0 is 10 units in a positive direction, and then another 5, I had to move a positive 15. So I come over here, start with the 5 that the end is at, and go a positive 15. So the y value of this endpoint is 20. That is the correct answer. And a way of checking yourself, you know, the midpoint averages the x's and averages the y's. So if I were to check this, I could use the midpoint formula. Endpoint R is a -8. Endpoint S has 0. So I average my x's and then average the y's. R is a 20. S is a -10. So -8 divided by 2 is -4. 20 minus 10 is 10 divided by 2 makes 5. Does that match the midpoint I was given? Sure does. I did it correct. Alright, so lesson 5 now, we're moving away from our line segments and moving into some work with some angles. So we got to first master some terminology. So ray is what we refer to for part of a line that has one endpoint and extends indefinitely in one direction. So it looks something like this. And we would note it and refer to it in symbol form when we're working with it as ray AB. So it's similar to our line segment and actual line symbol. It's just we're showing that it's ray. It's got the arrow only on the one side. An angle is formed by 2 non-collinear rays that have a common endpoint, and the vertex is the common endpoint of an angle. So maybe I still have this ray AB, but I also have this ray AC. This would be written as the angle BAC, or is the angle A? So we name it by the vertex. So that's the one that's at the point. So if I'm only dealing with one particular angle all by itself, I can just abbreviate it with angle A. Or we can name the whole angle, give it its whole name, kind of like you have a first, middle, and last name. This one has one too, to tell you where it starts, where the angle is located, and where it ends. So when there's multiple angles and you have to be more specific, you can whole name it. And so I'm saying, okay, you're going to start this angle at B, go to that vertex A, and then finish it at C. Then now would be time to refresh our types of angles. These should look familiar to you. You've learned them in the past. So I have this angle type. It's a right angle. Remember that's equal to 90 degrees. And you see that nice example. So looking at this picture, if I were to name it, there's a couple of ways that we can do this. We can whole name it, angle JKL. Or since it's the only one there all by itself, we can name it angle K. So paying close attention, the vertex should always be in the middle when you whole name it. Or it is what you're naming it by if it's just being named by the one letter. And alternately, we also have this notation. But what you should note is that we only do this one for right angles only. And that should make sense because only right angles are 90 degrees. And if you see in this picture, that's how we show that that's a 90-degree angles with that box. An acute angle, it's really cute, it's adorable, it's a tiny little angle, less than 90 degrees. And again, to name it, we can just do angle A if it's all by itself because A is my vertex point. Or I can whole name it and call it angle BAC or CAB as long as the vertex is in the middle. And when we are naming it, when we're working through problems, we have to just plain be consistent. So if I started with BAC, I got to keep it that way. An obtuse angle is a nice big fat angle. It'll be between 0 and 90 degrees. So not equal to 90 because that's a right angle, and not equal to 180 because as you can see down here, that's what our straight angle is. So in this one, I can still name it angle R because that's my vertex. Or I can whole name it, start at one side of the angle, go to the vertex, and then to the other side to show where it starts and ends. And for your straight angle, we still can name it and call it an angle even though it looks like a straight line. And we could call this angle Q because that's the vertex, the middle point, or PQR. So what we're doing down here, practice classifying these. We need to decide, is it acute, obtuse, right, or straight? Think about that. What does that look like? Acute has to be less than 90. What does that look like? Acute or obtuse is between 90 and 180. Right is equal to 90. Straight is equal to 180. So what you want to do, I want you to go through and look at all these, number 1 through 8, and you're going to label it with whether it is acute or obtuse. Then, where it's appropriate, you're going to practice naming it. So that's like what I did in the table above in that last column. Okay, so like what we did right here. That's how you're going to name it. So pause the video, go through, and then check. Okay, so you should have finished, and now you're just checking your answers. Again, you have to try first because that's the best way that you're going to learn. If you just copy it, you won't learn it. So number 1 was obtuse. And because the letters are there, I can name it. I called it DOG. You could have called it GOD as long as the O was in the middle. Number 2 is acute. And I named it angle CAT, and again, you could have said TAC. As long as the A was in the middle, both of those would be correct. Number 3 is right. Angle PIG, or you could have said GIP. Number 4 is a straight angle. And it's angle PEN. And I could have done it in reverse. 5, I see less than 90. 89 is less than 90. So that's acute. So is number 6. 7 is equal to 180, so that's a straight angle. 8 is equal to 90, so that's a right angle. Number 9. You're being asked to classify each as right, acute, or obtuse. So I'm looking here, angle MPR. So I would come over to my picture and kind of visualize M to P to R. That's why we whole name it, because there's multiple angles here. So now I can see which angle it is. I can see it's greater, so this is obtuse. So then moving to letter B, RPN. So start at R, P, and then go to N. I can see which angle that is 90 degrees. So it's right. And then NPS. Start at N, go to P, go to S. I can see it's less than 90. It's acute. So what we're doing is stopping here for today and going to the homework. You're going to complete number 1 and 2. And then you will watch out for lesson 5 day 2 video. That'll be up for next class, and I will give you an assignment from there. Best of luck. Ask for help when you need it.